Welcome to another Experts Talks. Last time we talked with Thomas Kessler about the condition monitoring's value chain and the motto, assess, address, and act. And this time we'll be talking about the products of this value chain. And to talk about that, here is Lee Gilbert, who is the International Sales Manager for Siemens Smart Grid Services. Welcome, Lee. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Jaron. How are you?
Very good.
Thank you.
We talked off camera, you like to travel a lot, and I know also for your job you travel around the world visiting customers, so maybe you can tell us about one of these recent experiences?
Yeah, I do travel a lot, and it is part of my job. I'm responsible for customers from North America through to Asia, and I talk to the customers about our technology and the issues they're facing relating to people retiring, aging portfolio, reporting on SF6 gas regulations and general constraints they have within their utility.
And would you say, talking to these different customers around the world, are they universal problems?
We're definitely seeing some common themes with our customers. We're hearing the customers have restricted budgets for a start, where we've just come out of a major recession and funding is an issue. We're seeing the requirements on the customers to extend the life of their infrastructure, to introduce reporting on the SF6 gas, which we know is harmful to the environment. So they're having more placed on them with limited funding.
And when would a customer be looking to introduce technology in this area?
So the customer primarily has two options to take. First of all, part of the customer will have a specifications department, and they would be looking at introducing this technology as part of a new tender for a new substation. We would be involved in some form of CapEx adventure, where the technology would be specified for monitoring some of the primary plant. And the principal aim really is to get an understanding, a benchmark from day one of the substation being installed. The second approach would be through OpEx funding, where we're primarily dealing with the asset and maintenance departments within the utility, where their aim is to ensure failure doesn't take place on product that is out of warranty. So clearly they want knowledge on the performance of the system to ensure it's highly reliable.
Now let's assume that a customer has an HVGIS, gas insulated switchgear. How can we help this customer?
So it's important that the customer with that type of technology understands that the older the equipment is, the longer it takes if there is a failure to replace product. Spares are not necessarily carried either by the utility or by the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. So this puts risk onto the customer. What we're trying to do is use this technology as a planned approach to their infrastructure rather to a reaction to the failure once something happens. Because it's much cheaper to plan something, plan an outage, plan a maintenance piece of work. So the three different technologies that we have regarding switchgear monitoring relate to partial discharge monitoring, which is looking at corona or contamination inside the GIS. We look at switchgear monitoring in relation to how the circuit breaker is performing during tripping operations or closing operations. And we look at gas density monitoring technology regarding SF6 gas leakage or audit reports that I referred to earlier.
And transformers are also critical assets. What can we offer in this area?
So this is where we start to now bring technologies together within Siemens. We have three products that I've mentioned in relation to switchgear monitoring, and we have transformer monitoring, which can all sit on the same platform. We call this in Siemens an integrated approach, integrated substation condition monitoring, ISCM. All of these acting either together or independently, helping the customer make their strategic decisions.
All right, this platform idea sounds like an idea for another expert's talk. You mentioned that there's data being gathered, but data being gathered in itself has no benefits, so how can we get a benefit from this data?
So that's a good question, and we can pull the data either at the substation level, so we can localize the data, because clearly having the data collected is one thing. Using that data to make decisions in avoiding the failure is the critical part of what we're trying to offer here. So we can either do that via collecting the data at the substation through a light solution, which is not online, but it gives an account of the change that's taking place with the primary equipment. We can do that through a more advanced approach, through a dial-in approach remotely, if the customer has the security allowances for us to do that, the technology is there, remote diagnostics. Or we can do this through an enterprise gateway where we pull various substations data together and we pull that data into a central location, maybe in the customer's headquarters. And what that will allow the customer to do is look at the asset as a whole, moving into smart grid management now, and then they can take strategic decisions as to where their priorities are, where they send their maintenance teams out, into a form of health check approach.
All right, that definitely sounds like a benefit, and
Definitely.
yeah, we're at the end of our experts talk, but thank you, Lee, for the time, and thank you at home for watching.
Thank you.
In summary, we can say that the products from monitoring and diagnostics can help our customers deal with cost constraints, aging assets, retiring workforce, and higher loads.